The Intergalactic Alliance Council Hall was unlike anything Ambassador Elena Carter had ever seen. Towering crystalline structures reflected light in 1,000 directions, creating a kaleidoscope of colors that danced across the polished floor. Hundreds of delegates from distant worlds filled the enormous chamber, their bodies, faces, and appendages varying in shape and form beyond imagination. Some had scales that shimmered like molten metal. Others floated in the air as if gravity did not concern them. Elena observed quietly, her human form unassuming but carrying a weight that many could not yet comprehend. She had been chosen as humanity's first official ambassador, a position given after decades of preparation. Humans had long remained silent in galactic politics, earning both fear and curiosity. While some species dismissed them as primitive, others whispered rumors of human resilience and adaptability, stories told in hushed tones in distant corners of the universe. Humanity's silence had always been a shield, a way to watch, learn, and survive. But now the time to reveal themselves had come. The council was in chaos. Debates erupted in multiple languages simultaneously, punctuated by alien gestures and vibrations. One faction argued fiercely for immediate attack on a resource-rich planet controlled by a rival species. Another insisted on diplomatic negotiations, claiming that war would destroy countless innocent lives. Elena took mental notes, watching patterns and alliances forming in real time. She knew humans had an advantage that no one here understood. While alien politics were slow, bureaucratic, and bound by rigid traditions, humans thrived on adaptability. Humans learned fast, fought smart, and thought creatively when faced with problems. This was why the Alliance had feared them, and secretly why some hoped humans would intervene. A loud alarm shook the hall, silencing arguments. Security drones swarmed the chamber as a small fleet of attackers attempted to breach the council's outer walls. Elena did not panic. She had trained for situations far worse than this. She quickly assessed the attackers' technology, fast, deadly, but predictable in patterns. Without hesitation, she used the comm device in her hand to coordinate the evacuation. Human protocols, even in secrecy, were precise and efficient. The council members panicked, some rushing blindly toward exits, others frozen in fear. Elena guided the most vulnerable delegates to safety. Her calm voice carried authority, cutting through the noise. As she moved, she observed the alien warriors who tried to intercept her path. With quick thinking, she used nearby energy barriers and environmental controls to slow the attackers. They were caught off guard, unable to anticipate human ingenuity. By the time reinforcements arrived, the attackers had been neutralized. Elena's calm efficiency left the council in stunned silence. Whispers spread. Humans were not just observers. They were capable, decisive, and deadly when needed. After the immediate danger, Elena returned to the council floor. The delegates stared at her, unsure what to make of this human who had acted alone without orders and succeeded where trained forces had faltered. She raised her hand, signaling for silence. The room quieted, all eyes now on her. "I am Elena Carter, Ambassador of Humanity," she began. Her voice was clear, steady, and unafraid. "For decades, humans have observed your conflicts, your debates, and your struggles. We remained silent by choice, not because we lacked strength. But today, the suffering of countless innocent worlds has reached a tipping point. Humanity can no longer remain a bystander." A murmur spread through the hall. Many alien delegates were shocked. Humans had never spoken in a council meeting before. Some exchanged worried glances, fearful of what this meant. Others seemed intrigued, leaning forward to listen more closely. Elena continued, carefully choosing her words. "We have watched wars that destroyed entire civilizations. We have seen technology misused, lives wasted, and diplomacy fail. We have trained, studied, and prepared. Humanity is joining the fight, but not as conquerors. We fight to protect, to preserve life, and to restore balance." Her announcement hung in the air. For a moment, the council was completely still. Then chaos returned, but in a different form. Alien factions began whispering to each other, some questioning whether humans were bluffing, others fearing the consequences of underestimating them. Elena remained calm, letting the uncertainty ripple through the room. In the following days, Elena worked tirelessly. She met with representatives of planets under siege, offering human support in secret. She coordinated teams of human engineers, tacticians, and soldiers who had been prepared for this moment for decades. Humans struck quickly, using clever strategies that alien forces could not predict. One mission involved a small moon being overtaken by heavily armed invaders. Humans infiltrated the base under the cover of darkness, disabling weapons and creating distractions. In mere hours, they turned the tide, saving thousands of lives. Alien witnesses could hardly believe what they were seeing. Humans, silent for so long, had emerged as a force of unmatched efficiency and courage. Elena herself visited the front lines on several occasions. She did not fight directly, but her presence inspired both human and allied alien soldiers. Her strategic mind and calm authority became a symbol of hope. Reports of human victories spread across the galaxy, changing the perception of humans forever. Back in the council, debates continued, but now the humans' involvement was impossible to ignore. Ambassadors who once ignored humans were forced to consult with Elena. Some tried to negotiate alliances, hoping to gain favor with humanity before their full strength was revealed. Others plotted resistance, fearing that humans would disrupt the delicate balance of power. One evening, as Elena reviewed reports in her quarters, she realized the full scope of humanity's influence. Small victories had inspired hope across multiple worlds. Entire populations, previously resigned to oppression, were beginning to resist invaders, encouraged by the humans' success. Humanity had quietly shifted the course of the war, and yet most aliens did not understand how or why. Elena knew this was only the beginning. The council would meet again soon, and this time, she would speak to the entire assembly. Her words would signal a new era, an era where humans were no longer silent observers but decisive participants shaping the galaxy's future. On the day of the council meeting, the chamber was packed. Delegates whispered nervously, glancing at each other, anticipating what the humans would say. Elena stepped onto the podium, her posture composed and confident. She looked out at the crowd, her eyes meeting the gaze of countless alien leaders. "My fellow members of the Intergalactic Alliance," she began, "humanity has watched, learned, and prepared. We understand the stakes. We have seen suffering that cannot be ignored. Today we choose to act not for conquest, not for revenge, but for justice and protection. Humanity is joining the war." The room erupted. Some delegates cheered, others shouted objections, while many simply stared, stunned. Elena remained steady, allowing the room to absorb the gravity of her words. She knew the perception of humans was changing, and this change would echo throughout the galaxy for years to come. After the meeting, reports came in of human forces moving strategically across multiple systems. Their speed, adaptability, and creativity confounded even the most experienced alien commanders. Humanity had finally revealed itself, and the universe was beginning to understand that the humans' silence had never been weakness. It had been preparation. Elena observed all of this with a sense of calm satisfaction. The council had underestimated humans for decades, and now, that mistake was being corrected in ways few could have imagined. She knew the war ahead would be long and dangerous, but humanity was ready, and for the first time in galactic history, humans had stepped fully into the spotlight, breaking their silence and making a promise that would forever change the fate of countless worlds. The space station hung like a diamond in the dark stretch of the void, gleaming under the light of a distant sun. Its surface reflected countless stars, a mirror of the galaxy itself. Inside, the halls were alive with dozens of alien species, each moving with purpose, eyes sharp, tentacles twitching, scales glimmering, or wings folded carefully against their bodies. It was the largest assembly of intelligent life the galaxy had ever seen, and at the center of it all, the human delegation waited. Commander Nathan Reyes stood at the forefront, calm and composed, his uniform crisp and his posture rigid but relaxed. His eyes scanned the grand chamber where the peace talks were about to begin. Humans had been invited reluctantly. The Galactic Council had long regarded humanity as an unpredictable, violent species, barely civilized, barely capable of diplomacy, and yet here they were, called to sit at a table with the most powerful races in the galaxy, discussing matters of trade, alliance, and peace. Nathan felt the weight of history on his shoulders, but he also carried the quiet confidence that humans had earned, not through years of flattering the Council or bowing to alien demands, but through their resilience, their ingenuity, and their unshakable dignity. The chamber doors opened with a soft hum, and the Zetherian delegation entered. They moved with elegance, each step deliberate, eyes cold and calculating, The Xytherians were among the galaxy's most feared species, known for their sharp intellect and sharper tongues. Their leader, a tall figure with silver-scaled skin and glowing blue eyes, scanned the room, sneering faintly at the human delegation. The other council members, a mix of species with various shapes, sizes, and temperaments, took their seats around the massive oval table. Nathan took a deep breath. He had studied every species, every custom, every possible slight that could come his way. Diplomacy, he reminded himself, was a battlefield of words and wit, not weapons. He nodded to his team. Dr. Mira Chen, a brilliant scientist who had helped translate alien codes, and Lieutenant Carl Ramos, a military strategist with a mind for tactics. Together they represented the best of humanity, brains, courage, and calm judgment. The head of the Galactic Council, an elder with translucent skin and eyes like liquid gold, raised a hand. "We gather today to seek a lasting peace," the elder began, "to establish agreements that will prevent unnecessary conflict and ensure cooperation among all species. Let us proceed with mutual respect and understanding." A murmur of agreement rippled through the chamber. The Xytherian leader tilted his head, a motion that seemed to mock courtesy itself. "Respect," he said in a tone dripping with condescension, "is earned. Some species, however, find the concept difficult." His gaze landed on Nathan. "I trust humans understand their place." Nathan's jaw tightened slightly, but he said nothing. He had expected this. Every alien species that saw humans for the first time underestimated them. It was almost a tradition, and humans had learned to use it to their advantage. Negotiations began slow and tense. The Xytherians spoke with precision, their words sharp and often insulting, though hidden beneath a layer of politeness. They suggested terms that would give humans the smallest benefits, while keeping the greatest power firmly in their own hands. Other species chimed in, offering advice, many of them sympathetic to the Xytherians' view, convinced humans would agree out of fear or pride. But humans did not bend easily. Nathan spoke calmly, carefully choosing each word. "We seek fair trade, equal respect, and agreements that benefit all parties," he said. "We are willing to collaborate, but not at the cost of our people or our independence." The Xytherian leader smiled thinly. "Independence is a dangerous illusion for a species so small, so young in the galaxy. You will learn that cooperation requires submission." There it was, the thinly veiled insult that Nathan had expected. He studied the leader's expression, noting the arrogance, the belief that humans were insignificant. Nathan knew then that continuing these talks would accomplish nothing. Humans would not beg, and they would not submit. He leaned back slightly in his chair, addressing the room. "If respect cannot be offered, then there is no purpose in these discussions. Humans do not negotiate with threats or condescension. We will not participate in talks that demean our species." A hush fell over the chamber. The Xytherians blinked in surprise. No one had ever spoken to them like that. Other council members whispered among themselves, confused and intrigued. The humans stood slowly, and without another word they turned and walked toward the exit. Each step echoed in the grand hall, deliberate and dignified. The council members were stunned. Aliens of every kind had expected some reaction, an apology, a negotiation, a compromise, but the humans did not argue. They simply left. Nathan felt the eyes of the galaxy on him, but he kept walking. Dignity, he knew, spoke louder than threats or insults. Back on the human ship Resolute, orbiting above the station, Nathan and his team gathered in the conference room. The view of the council chamber below was framed by the ship's wide observation windows, a reminder of the galaxy's watchful eyes. Nathan spoke quietly yet firmly. "We made our position clear. Humanity will not be pushed, insulted, or taken for granted. Other species underestimate us at their peril." Dr. Chen nodded. "They thought we would react with fear or anger. Instead, we walked away. They don't understand how humans operate." Carl Ramos leaned against the wall, arms crossed. "It's not just strength they don't understand. It's discipline, strategy, and honor. We didn't threaten them, we didn't attack. We showed them that humans are not predictable." Nathan allowed himself a small smile. "Exactly. Our strength is not in destruction, but in integrity. In the ability to stand firm, even when all odds seem against us. That's something the Council has never seen before. Something even the Xytherians cannot comprehend." News of the human walkaway spread quickly. Rumors circulated among Council members, whispered conversations in private chambers. "They left without fear," said one diplomat. They left with dignity. How did they survive without making enemies of us all? The Zytherian leader was furious, though his anger was carefully hidden behind calm expressions. He had expected submission, negotiation, perhaps even flattery. But not this. Not humans walking away without consequence, without even a single warning. He stared at the holographic image of the Resolute, circling silently above the station, and realized that these humans were unlike any species he had ever encountered. Meanwhile, the humans were not idle. Nathan gathered his team in the ship's strategy room. Holographic maps of nearby systems and star routes filled the space, highlighting planets, resource hubs, and trade corridors. "We may have walked away from the talks, but that doesn't mean we are powerless," he said. "We have allies, technology, and strategy. We will use them wisely." Dr. Chen pointed at one sector. "We can reach out to neutral species here. They have been hesitant to align with the Council because of Zytherian dominance. If we approach them, we could form partnerships that benefit both sides without relying on Zytherian approval." Nathan nodded. "And if the Zytherians attempt to intimidate us, we will be ready. Not with aggression, but with precision, strategy, and intelligence. Humans are not a species to be cornered." As the Resolute maneuvered through space, the humans worked diligently. They communicated with distant colonies, analyzed alien technology, and formulated strategies that were innovative, unexpected, and highly effective. Their actions were deliberate, measured, and calculated, a sharp contrast to the Zytherians' arrogance and overconfidence. Back on Elysium Prime, Council members could not ignore the growing influence of humans. Whispers of admiration mingled with unease. "They walk away from insult," said one elder. "They do not seek domination, yet they gain influence wherever they go. It is remarkable." In private chambers, the Zytherian leader fumed. "These humans, they should have cowered. They should have begged for peace. Instead, they walk away and grow stronger with every step. It is unacceptable." But even among the Zytherians, a few began to wonder, could it be that they had underestimated humans? That this species, small and young compared to the ancient races of the galaxy, possessed a combination of intelligence, resilience, and moral strength that could not be ignored. On the human ship, Nathan stood at the observation window looking out at the endless stars. "We did not seek to prove ourselves," he said quietly. "We only sought to protect our people and our dignity. And in doing so, we have shown the galaxy what humanity is capable of." Dr. Chen smiled. "They will remember this. The Council, the Zytherians, they will remember." Carl Ramos chuckled softly. "And when they realize they misjudged us, it will be too late. We are already moving forward, making connections, building alliances. They cannot stop us, and they cannot predict us." Nathan's eyes glimmered with quiet determination. "This is only the beginning. Humanity has walked away from insult, but we will not walk away from opportunity. The galaxy will see what we are made of." As the Resolute disappeared into the vastness of space, the Council and the Zytherians were left to reconsider everything they thought they knew about humanity. A small young species had shown that dignity, intelligence, and courage could speak louder than weapons or threats. And the galaxy would never underestimate humans again,